We are back. I don't let this play for long enough sometimes. Great song. Shout out StreamYard for that one. We are here post Texas. Probably the most infamous track on the schedule these days, I'd say. But I think for what it was, the Teardown podcast from The Athletic with Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi titled it "The Bar is Low." And for Texas, the bar is very low. But yeah. I think for what it is, it was a good race. I think as we were talking last night, Tegan, the playoff drama definitely helped elevate that for sure.
Yes.
I don't know if it was bad per se. There was some good action. That the last couple of restarts were exciting. The Bubba and Larson
that's the only thing that can be exciting are restarts. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what this horsepower package produces. Restarts. But I don't know what you want to call it. It's 5 laps of fucking pre-ejaculation or something. I don't know. That's all you're gonna get out of it. It's 5 laps and then it's shit. You get close to the car and you stall out. You can have the fastest fucking car on the track by miles and still cannot make passes unless somebody just royally fucks it up.
I'd be lucky to last 5 laps. But anyway, William Byron wins. As the title is number 300 for Hendrick Motorsports. A big win for them. Ken Schrader provided a few of those wins, so shout out Hendrick.
Thank you, Schrader.
They wouldn't be there without him. Legitimately, they wouldn't be at 300 right now if Ken Schrader wasn't born. So that's fun. But a big milestone for Hendrick, one of the greatest organizations in NASCAR history, the most winning organization after they passed Petty a couple years ago. It was right. Yeah. So that's good for Hendrick, up to 300. Showing no signs that they're going to stop either. But William Byron, I know a lot of people out there love to go on Alex Bowman and say, "Oh, he backs in everyone. Oh, he backs in everyone." William Byron has backed into about every single one of his.
But one maybe this year.
Watkins Glen, I think.
Well, that was a track position race. He's literally just fucking snatched the crown off of Alex Bowman's head. Scalp and all.
To do it 6 times, though, is crazy.
Yes.
6 times is
if it went for late yellows, this motherfucker would only have like 1 win, maybe 2 at most this year. So
yeah. Well, you got to think back. He won Phoenix, which was Kevin Harvick's race until that Harrison Burton caution came out. # Jeff Burton should have used a condom. Then Las Vegas, which I believe Almirola wrecked in that one, and Larson was leading by a lot. Looked like he was going to win that one. Byron also won Atlanta, which was rain shortened, so that one's kind of tough.
The strategy kind of led to that too, though. So
yeah, Watkins Glen led most of the race, so I think that's legitimate. But as you said, it was a very track position oriented race. Having trouble thinking of the other one that he won.
Darlington with
Darlington,
because Larson and Chastain
took each other out. Yeah. And then this week, so that comes to 6, and it's William Byron is a championship favorite, I think, just because of the playoff points he's accrued. But man,
they get a late yellow and they're in the top 5. But watch out at Phoenix.
It's not like he's an exceptional restarter or anything. He's really
just mistakes made on the other drivers.
So that's good for Byron because he is putting himself in a position 6 times this year to capitalize on other mistakes. So that's good for him. You have to say, you have to give him credit for that. But is that type of speed sustainable? Because Phoenix is a track, I know we've had late yellows there. Spring this year, had it in 2021 in the championship race. But Phoenix is a track that does not have a lot of late yellows. So the speed that Byron has, do we think that that's really sustainable for a race like Phoenix where it could be a long run to the end? What do you guys think?
I think if you go back to the spring race, him and Larson had very short to mid-run cars. after the last third of the run, they were shit. Harvick, stomped their ass. So, and I just don't think he's had speed here lately. He was not running good until the last few restarts, is where he got all his positions at there at the end of the race before he took the win. So, he was maybe top 10 driver, but he was not a top 5 driver. So, I don't think the speed is there. He is a favorite just because I think he can just coast. But I still think Hamlin and Larson are the top 2.
And you got to give him a little, the next round is going to be very good for him. He's already in, wins the race at Texas. Then he's got Miami, Vegas, and Martinsville. When you only have 10 Cup wins and you've won at all of the tracks in the round, that's a good round for you. And he showed speed at Vegas this year. I believe has the best average finish on 1.5 miles this season. So that's 2 of the races. And 2 relatively, familiar 1.5 miles. He's won there at both of them. And then Martinsville, which he won in 2022 in the spring race. So we'll see what happens with Byron. What are your thoughts on him, Sal? Backs into 1, but still has 6.
Or 6.
Yeah, I mean, if you're backing into 6 wins in one season like that, I mean, you're doing something right. I think kind of like Tegan said, though, if this is a team that you may not consider if they do make it all the way to the championship, depending who they go up against, you'd probably put them either 3rd or 4th, unless you get that late race caution. Then you know that team's just automatically gonna be right back in. I mean, good for him. Like you said, he's won at all the tracks we're going to in the next round, so maybe he can shut our mouths and go dominate one of those 3 and make us look like fools on here again.
Yeah, we look like fools a lot. Okay. But, to play devil's advocate for William Byron, he is 2nd in laps led this year. Only 13 behind Kyle Larson.
I think he got a lot of those at the beginning of the year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 5 or 6 races, him and Larson literally led the whole time.
Yeah. So, but let's say the Final 4 is what I had it predicted as. It's Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Truex, and Byron. You're not going to be surprised if Denny Hamlin goes out there and is the best, right? You're not going to be surprised if Kyle Larson goes out there and is the best. Truex, I know he's had his struggles lately, but I don't think any of us would be surprised if he shows up to Phoenix and is the best. I'd be a little surprised if William Byron came out gangbusters at Phoenix and just wiped the floor with everybody. I would be a little surprised about that. So we'll see. I'm not going to keep doubting him. I'm not gonna be the guy where people screen record my bad takes and post them up later. Hard to doubt a guy that's got 6 wins, 2nd in laps led. While he has backed into them, you have to be in a good position to be able to do that 6 times, as Sal said, is an impressive thing. Career day for Bubba Wallace. He started on pole, led over 100 laps, but somehow really didn't get many stage points out of it. Led a lot, started in the front, kind of faded towards the ends of each run.
Late restart helped him too.
Yeah, he kind of got back into it with those restarts, which is, I think, probably his strongest quality as a driver is his restarts. I think Rick Allen said he is the best driver in NASCAR this season on restarts. And I assume that's based on spots gained and whatnot. What are our thoughts on Bubba? I believe he's 2 below the cut line, but to start off the round, I think is a good sign for him and that 23 team. Sal, what do you like about how Bubba Wallace started this?
I mean, he's doing exactly what he said after Bristol and proving people wrong. I will put myself in those that he proved wrong. I had him, I think, out in the round of 16. Not because I don't think he was talented enough. I feel like he beats himself a lot.
That's why I had him out.
Yesterday, I mean, you could kind of hear it on the radio. I think it was Freddie telling him after he lost the lead and he started losing a lot more spots. You kind of could sense that they knew he was panicking a little, because they come on the radio and they say you got to keep your head in it. You got to, like, you're still fighting for something much bigger than this race win, and that's a chance to advance. Which that his good performance yesterday, along with the chaos that other drivers encountered, puts him in a way better spot than where you were coming in. Because now, I mean, if we get a normal Texas race, like no, like single file, whatever, right? I think he is basically already in a must win. But with a solid top 5 yesterday, and proving that he can go up there and win at these mile and a halves, he's definitely entered his conversation to probably advance into this next round. And I would dare say that he's probably one of him and Denny Hamlin, along with a couple other debatable ones. I think they are not as scared going into a place like Dega the way other drivers would be.
Kyle Larson, probably top of the list for me. Needed this to be a good race for him.
Mm-hmm.
Only going in 2 up at Dega. Kyle Larson is probably considered to be one of the worst super speedway racers in the series, along with probably like Truex. Those two, ridiculously fast everywhere. For some reason, they just, not sure if it's not their style. Well, it isn't, clearly. But yeah, Bubba Wallace, to go back to him, leads 111 laps I have here. Only got 3 stage points. So he really faded towards the end of those stages. I mean,
well, strategy played a role in the first one.
Yeah.
He literally pitted from the lead, and a bunch of them stayed out, and you can't get track position.
That's why Reddick won that stage, yeah.
Reddick got the stage points on that one, and it looked like he was going to get stage points in the second one until we had like a late yellow again, and it put him out of it again. So strategy they kind of set him up for the win to stay on the good side of strategy, and it cost him stage points.
So if you're Bubba, I think if you make it through this round, you have a chance at the Final Four. Like, I don't mean to like get ahead of myself here. 2 mile and a half, that's where Bubba Wallace shines, it seems like, with this car. Tegan, if Bubba can make it through this round, I know we're jumping ahead here. What do you think about his chances would be in the round 8? I think Talladega this week is a chance for him to give himself a points gap going into the Roval, which, to give Bubba some credit, he was a lot better at Watkins Glen a few weeks back when we were there. And I think he was even solid at the Indy Road Course, if I remember right. Kind of ran top 20 there all day, which for him is a huge improvement on tracks like that. So let's say Bubba can make it through this round. What would you think his chances would be in the round of 8?
It depends on who makes it with him. If Kyle Larson sneaks in and makes it through this round along with Bubba, I think it's hard. It depends on who gets knocked out. If you take a Tyler Reddick and a Kyle Larson gets knocked out of this round for some reason, because they're both below the cut line, if I'm not mistaken, along with Blaney. Blaney's also a good plate racer. If you take Blaney and he gets knocked out, then he might have a good shot. But if those 3 drivers make it for some reason, let's say Truex gets knocked out of it, let's just be fair, Truex has not had speed before the playoff started, then he might have a chance. It just depends on who makes it. If Kyle Larson makes it and for some reason Tyler Reddick makes it after the round with Bubba, I think he's going to have a hard time. He's going to have to count on, I think, some luck going his way.
And one deficit for Bubba is he literally has 0 playoff points.
Yeah.
So he's going into a round with a 40-point disadvantage on William Byron, 36 on Truex. So if he can make it through, it's a massive uphill battle, and he kind of would.
And you got to remember,
must win.
Talladega Fords kind of shine on these plate races, so
yeah.
I mean, you almost got to gang up on the Fords to get stage points. He's got to get stage points in these first 2 stages this weekend to kind of go with the possibility of getting wrecked out in the last stage. And that's if you don't get wrecked out in the first stage, because it gets fucking stupid sometimes. And it's being a playoff race, it's probably going to get stupid. We're going to have a big ass wreck that was pointless in the first or second stage pretty damn early. So,
and it's going to take out. It's going to be guys. It's going to be non-playoff guys causing it, and it's going to take out
maybe. Maybe. If the playoff drivers are getting desperate, you got Ryan Blaney who needs points. Bubba is going to need points. Bubba, we know how Bubba, he drives aggressive on plate races, kind of almost too aggressive. Reddick, I think Reddick is an aggressive driver. I think he'll do stupid shit. Who else is below the cut line right now? There's a fourth one. Who is it? Bell?
Bell's above right now.
Okay.
I can get the cut line here.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch is another one that's not good at plate racing. So there you go. He's not good at plate racing either. Not with
He
this
just
one.
won there.
Not
What
with
are you
this title.
talking about?
No, I think that with RCR, he's kind of found something on the plate tracks. He was
Maybe, but
was an iffy caution away from winning the Daytona 500.
He would have won
Right.
it if this was 1998.
If it was 1998, he would have won the Daytona 500 exactly, and wins Talladega. Granted, he was quite lucky that Bubba Wallace just destroyed the front row. So we'll see what Kyle can do. Speaking of Kyle, let's talk about Kyle Larson. Was obviously the fastest car yesterday. Maybe would have been interested to see what Denny Hamlin had. Maybe if he didn't have that damage. I know,
or if he didn't hit.
He still ran. He did still run really well. But I do think the damage definitely affected him negatively enough where I thought he was close to Larson before, but it kind of allowed Larson to vault ahead. And in that last, long green stretch of the race, he pulled out to a ridiculous lead.
6
caution
seconds.
came out. He did it again. And then the late cautions came. And then he had the battle with Bubba Wallace where the air just went right off of his car and he went right around. Big hit into the outside wall. So happy he's okay with where he hit on the car and how much of a problem that was last year. You looked at Bowman. Was it here where his injury happened?
Yeah.
And Larson's hit was considerably worse.
Well, I mean, you look at Kyle Busch, just back end of his car. The force it took, they're crumpling now. I mean, it's taking them out, but it's good considering that it's over an injury. So
I still think the cars are a little too rigid, honestly.
I think they're going to stay rigid. I think what they've done so far is probably the best it's going to get. To be honest, I think they're going to stay rigid.
Hello.
So I was getting a recording.
Yeah. But Kyle Larson, so he has that incident where he spins out, goes right into the outside wall, out. Of course, you saw the damage. You knew he was out. What are our thoughts? He's only 2 points above the cut line. I think this round, if the playoffs kind of stay in the same form that they are, is the biggest challenge for him because I think if Kyle Larson makes it to the round of 8, there's no way he's not making the Final Four. I'm sorry. But with Homestead and Las Vegas in that next round, you're not going to tell me he's not going to make the Final Four. So what does Larson need to do? Does he need to be aggressive in the stages to try to get points to build up a cushion? Or do we think that he kind of hangs back and hopes other stuff happens and kind of just hopes he can survive to the end and if he likes his chances at the Roval? What do you guys think?
I think Chevy comes with trimmed cars this weekend. And I think Kyle Larson's going to be one of them. Because you got to qualify up front. So that's how you stay up front. You do get shuffled out and you do make your way back up, certain ways, strategy or just flat out getting in the right line. And you may have to look at the one thing that Ford does a good job of, and it don't matter how they do it, whether they pit first or they pit last. They always gain time when they're all hooked up together on the pit cycle. So if you Kyle Larson, you kind of want to go, you kind of might need to go with the best group to get your stage points. Leave Toyota, you leave your teammates, and you do what's best for you. Byron's already in. Your other two teammates, even though the 9 car's in the Owners' Championship, who gives a fuck?
Right.
You leave them hanging. You stick with the group that's going to get you up there and keep you there.
Wait a minute. You know what that means? It's time for Owners Champion Preview. That's old, so let's just give it let's change the name of it. Owners Championship.
Best of the rest, points leader Chase Elliott.
Hey, Chase Elliott! Woo, shout out to Sal for doing the best of the rest points on his Instagram. Follow him at salzavala889 on Instagram. Eric Jones and Chase Elliott are in a dogfight for this best of the rest championship right now. Sal, tell me about what's going on over there.
was a dogfight, and then he wrecked in the first
Wow.
race of the round of 12 for Eric Jones. But currently,
Good
your
round.
first
I mean,
4 out.
good
Oh
race
shit!
for
Didn't.
him.
There we go. First 4 out after Texas. AJ Allmendinger is 2 out. Ty Gibbs is 6 out. Todd Gilliland 8 out, and Austin Dillon is 9 out.
All that wreck.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they did all wreck. There's probably some that wrecked above it too.
Alex Bowman 2 above. Corey LaJoy 3 above.
He probably
Eric
wrecked.
Jones 8 above.
Okay.
Eric
Jones wrecked.
Almirola 12 above.
Eric was in a wreck.
With Bowman,
Ryan Priest is
With Bowman.
13 above.
he didn't wreck. He actually had a good run.
He had actually a bad restart there at the end. He was top like 6 or 7.
Yeah, who cares about him? Anyways, you know?
Come on, what is your deal?
Justin Haley is 16 up. Shout out to him, a 13th place finish
Hey,
yesterday.
great. Whoa, okay. His wife should be named
Daniel
Haley
Suarez, that is a dude. He wheeled that thing. Got a top 10. He's 22 up on the cutoff.
Wessel.
Hey, my amigo Sal, how are you doing?
Wessel was not happy with Daniel Suarez yesterday.
No, he was not.
That's before he spun too.
Yeah.
He was like, I hope somebody spins him, and he spun. Who's after Suarez? Where's he at? Like position?
Second.
Oh,
At second.
wow.
Then Chase Elliott is your current points leader, 23 above the cutoff.
That's right, my championship. All right, a lot of fun. Thank you for that update, Sal. Where's he on the owners championship? Is he good right now? I assume he's up on the cut line because he got good.
I know
bonus.
there's someone who's actually keeping track of that. I don't remember who it was though.
Let's take this time to go.
This is the real champion.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just check the owners standings. Chase is 2 out right now. He's 2 behind Larson, or the 5 car, excuse me. So, gonna need a big week in that old owners championship. But let's get our playoff standings update. We've kind of threw out some numbers before, but we'll put them to your eyes here. Here's where they're at. William Byron locked in up there. Pretty good advantage for Hamlin. He's 37 up. Really good day for Chris Buescher. Top 5 in both stages. Finished top 15. He's up 22. Bell didn't have a great car. He's up 20. Truex is up 19. The 20's up 20 and the 19's up 19. That's fun. Chastain up 12. A really good day for him. Got pretty lucky after he had an incident, right, and fell to the back.
He had issues with his
Pit road.
a sensor, a pedal sensor or something. was
Oh,
going
yeah.
out.
And then he came back up to finish second, I believe. So good run through the field for Ross Chastain. Brad's up 8, and Kyle Larson is up 2. And then we have Bubba and Reddick 2 and 3 below the cut line, respectively. There's a fly in my face again. It's the same. Did I get it? Fuck. Blaney's down 11 and Kyle Busch down 17. So for those guys wrecking out, 11 and 17 isn't terrible to be down right now. I think what helped them was
More
the guys
above people
above
above
them had
them
problems.
wrecked too. Closed out. It kept the cut line close.
And with Talladega next week, don't be surprised if you see more guys wreck. I mean,
I think everybody below Denny Hamlin could actually be worried about Talladega. That's third on down because they're only 20 above. Like Denny Hamlin's got a 15-point advantage on the next guy behind him. So that's 15 positions. So
that's huge. And he's 37 on the cut line. That's an entire race basically without stage points. So, and stage points can kind of be a little fucky at Talladega. You could get like Ty Dillon winning a stage or something like that. I'm rooting for Ryan Priest and Chase Briscoe to be right at the front.
Shaking bacon.
Let's see if I can get this up here. I hope J-Ski has it. Oh,
Bacon's gonna be up there. Shakings isn't gonna have it.
Dude, say what you want about Ryan Priest, Sal. This right here is awesome. I am so excited for this. Talladega Nights, one of my favorite movies. We got Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr. on the track. And you know who always won? Ricky Bobby. So I'm looking out for that wonder car this weekend.
I think they need to bring
Ryan
Will
Preece.
Ferrell and
John C. Riley out, maybe.
yeah, John C. Riley to do the freaking command. I mean, in their driver's suit,
Yeah.
everything.
Oh,
I think they
my
need to go
God,
down
that
there and try to
would
get
be
into the
awesome.
fucking cars. It would be a good fucking skit. It'd be Fox. It'd be NBC's way of showing Fox how they used to do it and now how they're doing it. So
Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Say what you want about Ryan Preece. Sal will say a lot. I like him, but I think this is awesome. This is really cool. I'm really excited for this. So that'll be fun. Let's
remember,
about-
let's hope he don't flip in this car because he's did it. Will Ferrell did it.
Hey, we don't need to put that in the air, okay?
Yeah, the car's already there.
So yeah, Kyle Busch went out. Had a decent car, I thought, but kind of sensed there was something wrong. Thought it was a flat, then didn't think it was a flat.
And I think something was broken in that car. Is what he was feeling. And they didn't listen.
Yeah, and well, you kind of for the team, if he pits there, something they might not even be
It's
able to
stage
fix.
1. But then you wreck, so
you're going 2 laps down, maybe. So
it's
just
better
a
than
tough
finishing dead
balance.
last.
It's a good point. So that not a great time for Kyle Busch, and especially considering maybe hope he does well at Talladega. Has had a good year on the road courses, so we'll see what he can do. Probably an uphill battle for him to make it through here. Ryan Blaney's bad luck continues. He was everything possible that could have happened. I think he had a
Put
pit
himself
problem.
back there.
Did he
He speed
speed?
penalty. He sped.
And then he was caught in that big wreck towards the end with Hendrick and Allmendinger. And, when you get back there late in the races, that's
With the squirrels.
So with the squirrels. I think Suarez might be a squirrel. Let's be real here, okay? I'm sorry. Might be a squirrel.
Little Mexican squirrel.
Oh, we didn't need that part. Speaking of just having all sorts of problems, Truex had everything go wrong. What was that deal under caution? Whose fault really was that?
I think it was a league race moment where everybody checked up at the stage and Afterfield didn't. They checked up too quick.
Because
Keselowski got ran into as well. So
during our league races, that is something that always terrifies me at tracks like that.
It's checking up. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like super speedways are the worst because we're all so close together. Mm-hmm. And respectfully, some of these people in our league are not the wisest about things.
They're squirrels.
We have some squirrels occasionally, but I get a little nervous at that situation. You don't see that in real life, but it happened here to Martin Truex Jr. So, and then he was in another incident. I think he had something else. I thought
he got through the wreck. He was in it, like he went through it.
Yeah, he got hit.
Yeah, but he didn't get hit, did he? Did he? Okay, yeah. Well, he still
hit,
made it,
but it wasn't enough to give him damage with this composite body. Let's talk about Ross Chastain. Kind of a return to form for him. Trackhouse has lost speed seemingly on the lower downforce tracks with the new short track package, but has kind of kept the speed at the 1.5 miles. Case in point, his win at Nashville. And Suarez ran top 10 a lot of the day yesterday. And Chastain goes to the back. And I know, late pit calls come into play, but to finish second, pretty solid day for Chastain. So it looked like he was kind of back to where he was earlier this year, but I still think that it might be trouble for him to get through these next 2 races. If he can, I think that the last 3 races do kind of bode well.
I think he's going to be the squirrel that makes a bad move is at Talladega again.
I don't know. He's turned the corner, man. He might be good now. We don't know.
You never what's the saying? A leopard never loses its spots.
Yeah, that's a good saying for him.
He's just wearing a coat.
Now let's talk about Ford. Tegan, you're our Ford guy here, right?
For the next 6 races.
Well, you still could be. Do you know where you're going yet next year?
I do not, but it probably ain't Stuart Haas. So they let Zane Smith get away. So I'm like, well, fuck. I mean, I don't know who they can get now. I don't think Eric Amarillo's coming back next year, so I don't know who they're putting in that car.
Now. I think he's going to stay.
Why would you want to struggle again? That's all Stuart Haas is going to do.
Who cares?
That's all Ford's going to do.
Fun. He'll win an Xfinity race at Chicagoland. He'll run by himself at Chicago. Eric Almirola running laps at Chicago in an Xfinity car for fun. He'd actually probably get suspended for that. Or there'd be a large fine levied for that. But you're the Ford guy. How is RFK so much better than SHR and Penske right now?
So a lot of people started talking about that. We've been talking about it for a while, I feel like.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I noticed on Twitter is finally seeing it this week. And it's just not Stuart Haas that they're comparing it to. They're comparing it to Penske. Like, in my opinion, Stuart Haas is a bit above Penske just with Harvick. But then you had Harvick, Briscoe, and Preece all over in the top 10 at the end of this race. And Joe Logano wasn't even a fucking factor all day. Even with the wrecks, he couldn't get a good finish. He couldn't get a top. I don't think he even got a top 20. So even with all the wrecks, he still couldn't get a top 20 out of it. Not Preece, but Hendrick. I don't think he was only up there on the fucking stages when the pit cycle to his advantage. I don't know if they figured out something and they're not sharing. Which somebody mentioned that maybe they had figured out something and they're not even sharing it with Ford. Which, in my opinion, I think if you're Ford, you're putting a stop to that. Like Ford has control over their sim time. That's where it's at. If they're not sharing with these other teams, I know you got to keep some shit, but if you've got 7 cars struggling and 2 are not, and they're just keeping this shit to themselves, I don't get it. Maybe my conspiracy mind is kicking into overdrive here. I want to put it on a little tin hat because I feel like each year teams have to take turns within a manufacturer and being the best. Look how long Hendrick stayed down before they figured it out, or figured it out. Look how long Stuart Haas was the top 14 when they switched. They were only one that was probably better than them as a whole was just Joey Logano, just Joey. Last year they were running better at this point last year. Yeah, but Brad fell off a lot before he left. Brad could only win, in my opinion, when he was in the 2 car.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. Is. Brad made the Final Four in 2020.
Okay, but he ran 4th out of the 4. That don't mean shit. That just means he made it through.
I really think
Harvick literally got fucked at Martinsville, fucked himself, had a bad car. That's the only reason why Brad made it.
Listen. I look at a successful season in NASCAR in the modern playoff era as making the Final Four if you're a guy like that. That's all it's about. It's one race, so it's kind of tough to, you could have a bad race, but to make the Final Four, that embodies making it through different rounds, accruing playoff points throughout the year. And Brad did that multiple times in the playoff point era. So I'm going to give him some credit. I think that he wasn't.
He still wasn't running up the par to Joey, though. So when you compare the two,
went back and forth.
No, come on. Joey's always top dog at Penske.
Joey missed the playoffs one year.
If I'm not mistaken, so does Keselowski. He missed it 1 year.
2013.
I do believe.
2013. Okay. That's before the modern playoff era. But
modern, my ass. Modern is 1970 fucking 2. Don't speak modern to me,
I'm talking about the current playoff format that we've been in for 10 years now. Okay?
Okay. He still missed. Right. It's the same way to get in. When you get in, and he didn't make it.
Not in 2013. Not in 2013.
Oh, yeah, it was points, wasn't it? I still think he missed another year.
No.
Either way, I still think that each fucking manufacturer takes the third best car. Who was he third behind?
Actually, I don't agree with that. Actually, I think it goes Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, then maybe Brad, because Brad won New Hampshire, he won Richmond that year. I I think that's probably because as Wessel was saying, they're Hardwick Hamlin dominated when they got back from COVID. Chase Elliott wins 5 races that year and the championship, so it's hard to say that he was worse than Brad. But I think Brad was probably 4th, 5th on speed that year. And 2021 wasn't a great year for Penske. How many did Joey win? I think he won Bristol Dirt. Was that it that year?
That was it that year.
And then Blaney won a couple of races. He won a Daytona race. He won the Michigan on the late restart. He won another one that I don't remember because he won 3 that
Did he
year.
not win a day race?
He won Atlanta. He won Atlanta. I think he was battling Larson. He passed Larson late for it.
Yeah.
I was there. I was at that.
Oh, hey, he was there.
I was out there. I
You got any
remember
bonus?
watching that one.
You got any
I
bonus
don't
this year?
actually.
Wow.
I don't. Except for maybe fucking is it Eddie? It ain't Eddie Gossage anymore. Who's over? It's
There's a new guy. It's just
it ain't okay. So it's not the new guy because it's not. He's not the one that's gonna make the decision. It's Smith. I forgot his damn name. It ain't Bruton, obviously.
Marcus
It's
Smith.
dipshit. Marcus Smith. He's probably gonna be the bonehead, just because
He loves holding.
he's probably gonna
both
redesign the
fans.
track into another Atlanta. So, which is just fucking stupid. We don't need another Atlanta. One's enough. One, it's too many, to be honest. And if they do Texas this way, it's just fucking stupid. If they do Texas this way, NASCAR I think needs to step in and say, okay, Atlanta's losing a race. Either you move it somewhere else, or we will do it for you, and we will pick the track. And they go back to Chicagoland. Maybe that's the way to get it back to Chicagoland.
I don't think that they're going to make it. I know that's where the rumblings have been. I don't think they're going to do that because the industry pushback on it, the media is against it, I think. The drivers are against it, and the fans are against it. So I'm not sure because the crowd at Texas, say what you want, was good.
This year
For
was
it to be hard as it was. But you know why it's good? It's like we said it earlier. They know the drama happens here, and it's usually always playoff drivers that get it. It never fails. Or they're in it because somebody else did it. So Texas is the track where if you're off the line just a little bit, that PJ1 and shit, you're fucking done. You're in the wall. So
yeah, I really think that 3 and 4 is actually, as it's aging, starting to race relatively well that side of the track. 1 and 2 is just awful. I don't know who thought that was going to be a good idea. Like making it one group.
well,
like,
I mean, they did
flatten-
Kentucky the same way. Kentucky
that
was
didn't
kind of
work.
good
Look-
the way it
Look
was,
where
and they made it
Kentucky
worse.
is now. Look where it is now.
Exactly. But like we said, how do we know how this car would race on this track now? The same thing with
I
Chicago.
wouldn't be surprised if we see it back. Honestly,
Maybe Texas just loses a race next year. But from what I'm hearing now, they're going to move to spring. I mean, I'd be
Yeah,
fine with
that's-
that if they lost it.
that's-
so
100% confirmed. It's off of the IndyCar schedule, Texas, which is another topic I wanted to get into. So Texas is off of the IndyCar schedule, which very disappointing for IndyCar because IndyCar fans love Texas. Texas race is awesome for IndyCar. The
Because it's
last
so
couple of
flat.
races there have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
So disappointed that is happening, but where NASCAR would have needed to put it for their date, Texas IndyCar, their target date would have had to been the week after. And I guess they didn't want to do their big events in back-to-back weeks. So it's really up to them. But it got replaced. There's 2 Milwaukee Mile dates for IndyCar next year. So good for that venue. Had a truck race back there, and IndyCar going to go back there for a weekend, kind of like they do in Iowa, which has been a huge hit. They've done a really good job in Iowa to make that big. So it seems like Texas and COTA are going to be back to back next year. And what the double header rumor there's been because of the Olympic break is going to be Richmond, most likely, I think. And I think it'd be cool maybe them to do a Saturday night race and then Sunday afternoon. I think that'd be a cool, just to get back under the lights at Richmond. I know the racing won't be as good, but that's a cool atmosphere under the lights at Richmond. Feels like, because the day race, the racing has been good and the tire wear has been good, but
tire wear is still
feels
good
a
for the
little
night race too.
It feels a little foreign seeing Richmond during the day. I'm sorry. It feels weird. Like, it feels like it rained and Dale Jr. is trying to go back and get Kyle Busch again. Because I remember that clip of Dale Jr. bumping him at the next Richmond race and it being during the day, and I was like, this is weird. But now that's what we live in, the world we live in with Richmond. So Montreal kind of up in the air schedule-wise. It had a lot of momentum through the summer, but from what it seemed like, I don't know if that's going to happen. What do you guys think about Montreal from everything that we've seen?
I mean, we do know that Road America is not getting a date in NASCAR at all next year.
That's
so
right.
We thought. I still think Montreal is in the play.
I think
that may be where the holdup is, to be, because I read today from Bob or Jeff Luck that they're thinking the schedule is going to come out this week, bearing any more last minute delays. So there's still some last minute shit going on.
Yeah,
that NASCAR
I don't know if
is
they do
doing
it in the playoffs. I don't think you want to.
I don't think you can do it.
Playoffs.
Okay, I thought you meant the schedule. Why not? They did the Roval.
Okay,
another road course.
Yeah, I'm not. I think the track that's going in the playoffs that's a road course would be Watkins Glen. Yeah. Everything that I've read,
what I've read, there's possibility there's going to be multiple road courses in the playoffs next year,
and that kind of adds up with the Watkins Glen being added and keeping it at the Charlotte Roval. And rumor also say that Atlanta would take Texas's playoff date, which I don't. Really like.
Let's make it more fucking Mickey Mouse. Let's put another plate race in it. Let's put them both in the same one. Hell, fuck it. Let's take Daytona and do it too. Let's put them all three in the same fucking round, NASCAR. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like two super speedways in the playoffs. I don't mind two road courses. I don't like when people call road courses wild card races because they aren't. Okay,
not with this car, they're not. This car, they definitely not.
The Roval still has the chance to be.
That's just because it's got so much chicanes and shit in it. But this car, it's got too much. It's good. It's too much braking power. The brakes do not wear out. You'd have to fuck up your setup, your car, to have a brake failure at a road course now.
And with how good the brakes are, it limits the chance for moves to be made. It limits the braking window. So I really think that's something they need to look at. I hate to say make the car worse, but that's what they might.
I don't think you can. With this tire, you got to have the braking power with it. You can't. If you change it, they're not going to have none. That's how tightrope it is. They should not have went with a water tire. That single lug or 5 lug nuts, whatever. They should have kept the tire the same. That way, it was the same. The braking would have been the same. Who cares about the single lug or the 5 lug nut? The tire should have stayed the same width. They should not have went to a water tire.
Yeah, I really think that the next gen car is not going to last as long as it was designed to.
It's going to last long enough for NASCAR and the teams to get their money.
I think that they have to find a balance because they're, as much as this program likes to kind of go at the next gen car, it does have some qualities about it. It has improved mile and a half racing.
That's about it. I still think they can do that with another car. All you got to do on that is bring horsepower back. Get it to where they're not fucking full throttle and shifting. Shifting, if they would take shifting out of all this shit at every track, because they're shifting at Texas, that would fix a lot of problems too.
Yeah.
They'd be more tire wear. But everybody likes shifting, so I like the idea of shifting on a fucking oval. On a fucking oval. You don't shift on a fucking oval.
Does anybody really like the shifting? Is that like a real thing?
I've seen some people on Twitter, like people that's like not high media people, like Bob and Jeff and them, but like the mid guys, like Andrew and shit. They love shifting. They like the concept of shifting in this car.
Andrew? Who's Andrew?
I can't remember his last name. It starts with a K.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he comes up with some bogus. Yeah, yes, he comes up with some bogus shit that he loves, and I'm like, this dude ain't got a lick of sense. How in the hell is he working for Dale Jr.? Because Dale Jr. is like old fashioned, and this dude's like wanting to change. He likes everything where like nobody you would not think nobody would love. Oh, I think shifting adds a so complex to the race. I'm like, it's a fucking oval. You should not be shifting at an oval. If you want to fix the fucking races, take out shifting. Then you'd have your problems would be fixed. 90, 80, 70% of your problems would be fixed in this car if you took away shifting. You can't change the tire because that's going to cost too much money. Change the gearing where they cannot shift. Especially on short tracks.
I don't know if the tire
that would fix the
cost
short
so
track
much.
program.
I don't know if the tire would cost so much money because the tires are still being produced just for the Xfinity and the truck car.
I'm talking about, though, changing it how it goes on this car. If they go back to the last size, it's not going to mount up to this car. Single, 5-lug nut, it's not going to do it. They would have to spend a lot of money changing these cars to where they would fit the tire to make that work. But you know what? Yeah. Fucking take a car and test it. Fucking, I am sure there's about 50% of the teams would fucking volunteer so quick it'd make your fucking head spin to go test that out. Rodney'd probably be the first one. Rodney'd probably be like, let me show you what to do, NASCAR. I know how to cheat.
Yeah. Do we see Texas be reconfigured, though?
I don't think so. Because if it was going to be, it would have been announced this week. It would have been the good opportunity.
Right.
Don't think it's going to happen for it next year. It gets moved to spring.
Do they announce it next week's race or next year's race, the spring race, and then say, hey, next year we might not be racing here because we're reconfiguring it?
Unless drivers start coming out saying that the racing is bad at Texas because you can't pad it, I don't feel like it's loud enough. I think you're going to have Marcus Smith looking at the drama that it's caused the last couple of seasons, last year and this year, and they're going to be fucking happy. They're going to be fine with the product they have. They're not going to change a fucking thing because it causes wrecks, which is what everybody goes to watch a NASCAR race for. Not a true fan, but most of your people.
Yeah, I don't even, I don't mind if there's 5 gears.
I don't mind it's 5. They should not be shifting down to fucking third at a racetrack. At some of these racetracks, they're shifting third. They're showing these road courses and Pocono is the only 2 tops of tracks they should be shifting.
Because
I don't care what gears you're in.
What the shifting adds is a larger margin of error, which we don't want.
And takes away tire spin, which is what's killing road courses. No tire wear.
So,
none.
Yeah. So I think maybe have different required gear ratios. I guess that would be the.
I think that's where it's at. NASCAR's done it before, so I mean they still got a set gear ratio limit they have this year. You got to change them though and make them fucking high, to where they cannot. They will do no good shifting.
Yeah, honestly, they might have to make the gear ratio so they just wipe out 5th gear.
Hell, they've made this shit like NASCAR Heat 5. Go a step further. If you fucking shift, that damn thing goes down there and revs the motor and spins the fuck out. Keep going, NASCAR. Get the game out. Dust it off. Fucking write out your notebook. Write out your rule book. Hell, come watch the CFRL. We'll show you how to do shit.
Watch our broadcast from this week. Both of them were very good. So, yeah. Speaking of our broadcast this week, actually, we'll wait on that. Talk about the Xfinity race a little bit. Wild Xfinity race, but all that for just another Jonathan or Nemechek win. Boring.
Well, a lot of people said that about Byron win, too. All this for a Byron win, so.
Same with John or Nemechek. I mean, a lot was going on during that race. I don't know if you guys caught that, but
I didn't watch all of it.
Allgaier had the best car and got like.
That's the only thing I saw the clip was Allgaier and
over
Parker.
Yeah. So that was tough. Parker almost had a chance to win. I jinxed him. I also jinxed Bubba Wallace and Chase Briscoe in our CFRL Facebook text chat that we have with a few of us. Yeah, because I was trying to because my jinx has been working this weekend, so I was feeling pretty good about it. So I put out in our little group text. I was like, "Man, Wallace and Briscoe seem hard to beat. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to get him with Chase in third on the restart." So I'm like, "Okay, let's work our magic here." But then Chase is a bad restart, shocker, and then he gets fucking uprooted by Booba going 20 miles an hour in 3 and 4. So that's fucking great. My jinx worked, but for the wrong Hendrick car, unfortunately. Really excited. Great season, Chase. But now let's go into our league talk. Kevron, I believe that's Kevron's YouTube account commenting here. Congratulations, midweek series champion. Tegan, JB, Wessel, and myself were all in the booth. Tegan, I thought it was a pretty good race, and I think midweek season 1 went pretty well.
Yeah, I think it had a lot of participation, more than what we have been seeing in our lower series.
More
So,
than we expected to, honestly.
yeah, we thought it would kind of die off toward the end of the year. Limiting races that people could race for the ones that couldn't race for the championship, even though we actually added some races to him to make the field a fuller field for certain races like Talladega. Who wants to race Talladega with 5 people? It's boring as shit.
Which is something that's going to stay. It's going to stay like that next year. We'll have
again. And the race Wednesday was pretty good. It's hard to kind of commentate a race when you're watching from that kind of point of view, because you can kind of tell when the car's getting loose, but it looks like they're getting loose on theirs, but on ours it could be a glitch or a lag or whatever, a random lag in us watching. So I can kind of tell when people get loose at Gateway. It's how they get off the track, going down the track and then go back up. That's how you tell when they get loose. So Spencer dominated that race. I mean, we thought he'd have a short run car. It seemed like his car actually got better on the long run at the end of the race. So
good for him.
He just pulled the fuck away. So it makes you think what position he could have been in if he had not had 2 bad races. The 2 only races they had to do to make the Final Four, and he had disaster races. So it makes you think he could literally been the champion if he'd used his
brain,
common sense a little bit more. So maybe that's something he can work on next year. And then, like I said, Kevron ran a good race. He was literally behind at one point and short pitted and got a good entry on pit road, and all that added up to a big ass lead that they couldn't make up. So he put them in a position where they couldn't even short pit him again. So it was a good call on Kevron's part.
Really good call by him. And we had the Cup race. JB wins at Bristol. Final Four is the same as it is last year. It's JB, Tegan, Bradley, and I. Sal, you were in the booth for that. What did you see out there? How was the race? And tell me kind of what went on. Give them a recap.
It was a lot of fun to watch, actually. You had, it seems like the field was split up into like 3 groups for whatever reason. Before the first set of green flag stops, you had, I think it was you, Tegan, and JB in that first group. Then you had Bradley, Spencer, NSP, and Ryan in that second group. Then just everyone else. Apparently, there were like 4 wide at one point in the back.
I heard that, yeah.
Which I don't even know how that's possible. But I mean, that was entertaining. Then pit stops came around. You kind of saw who was more conservative on entry. People started leaving. And I felt so bad for Ryan because it looked like I don't think he would have won, but I think he had the car to go up there, compete with you 3. But I mean, it's just one of those things. I guess we'll never know. And then people saved gas.
Waiting on that. And it wasn't Wessel because he quit, and it wasn't Mike because he lagged out. So Mike was thinking, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh, you're fucking right. I was thinking, "Fuck yeah!" Short pit, and I'm like, "Oh." I was thinking there'd be like 2-4 times. I was totally not paying attention to where we were at, and I was not gonna make it anyway. I wasn't in that. I would have had to have saved 11 laps on the last run, and I think to do that, I would have had to back up to Tegan, and I don't know. It wasn't gonna work. I think for me, with the way I drove the track, but good to lead 152 laps, I guess. Yeah, it was fun, I guess. I
152 laps and the 3rd place to show for it.
That's like my 91 last week with a 3rd place to show for it out of 100.
It's the story of my playoffs. I've led a lot of laps, had a lot of really some of my best speed all year, and I have nothing to show for it. So we'll see. I can erase all the heartbreak throughout the playoffs next week at Las Vegas. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be pretty tight between the top four. Hopefully it comes down to speed. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's deserved for the guys that are in. So, Tegan, give me your thoughts, and then Sal, maybe you can give a little prediction on what you think is going to go down, since you're kind of the only unbiased one in here.
Is he though?
Yeah.
I pray on my downfall.
So you want my input on the race, or? Yeah. It was a good race. I mean, I feel like I was faster than you the first 50 laps of that.
Oh no, I was asking for your input on what's going on next. What you think next week
at Vegas? Okay. I'm kind of worried, to be honest. I just don't feel like I've had the speed or the fucking luck like I've had the last couple seasons. I don't think my pantry's there anymore. That showed at Bristol. They showed at the Auto Club at midweek a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think it's going to be really fucking close. I think it's going to be nerve-wracking, to be honest, for all four of us in this race. I think it's going to be the most nerve-wracking race I've had probably since TNT at Vegas. Really? Only because you were too close for comfort. So, because there was that run where I had fresher tires than you all, and I'm like, Mike's going to block. He's going to make my life a living hell, and I'm like, I just got him to get by his ass and leave. And I did. So that was nerve-wracking. I feel like
I actually didn't. I didn't block.
No, I think you knew I was going to move your ass if you did.
And there was no point. I made my play. It didn't work. There was no point in trying to overcompensate for it and make a mistake that was going to take both of us out. So I thought you were talking about the one where it was the last one.
That's another one. I think that was another.
Where I was
the next year, maybe.
Like, yeah, because we had there was 3 TNT.
We did Vegas on all 3.
Yeah, but the first one was the head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one.
2 guys. Yeah, I wasn't either. So I think it was Katie and Subvader maybe or something like that.
I think so.
And Katie won the first championship for that, but then you won the next 2. I thought you were talking about the last one where I was like just chipping away at you little by little, and I just couldn't quite get there. So that was, man, that one hurt. I don't want to see that again.
I do.
So we'll. Yeah, I bet you do. Sal, what is your thoughts? What do you expect for Vegas?
I mean, I said it I think whenever we were signing off yesterday for the broadcast. I really think it's going to be a lot of fun because you look at the season as a whole. I think you got the best 4 drivers battling it out again, just as it was last year. I kind of agree with Mike. I do hope we get to see a full race, Tegan, a race, not fuel mileage.
Hey, JB went for it, and I did too. So,
I mean,
y'all keep forgetting that I'm not the only one that's doing this every time. Because if I was, I'd have 6 fucking wins right now instead of fucking 1. So,
yeah.
You know
I've
what?
had somebody that's a little bit been right there with me doing it.
You're the owner of that organization, so all blame falls back on you.
He's not doing that. He's not doing that next year.
I do think it'll be a lot of fun, though. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing all 4 of you because I feel like all 4 of you, if need to get a little aggressive there towards the end, y'all all can do it.
I'm such a pussy. I'm sorry.
There's a 20 slid in there for whoever wrecks Mike coming on the white flag. So
it'll probably be Mike. So
Mike's going to be $20 richer next week.
Give a pick.
I like Bradley.
Okay, first mile and a half win and the championship. That'd be a story for sure. So yeah, that's all for the CFRL talk. Let's move into picks, and then we'll get out of here because we want to do GTA races tonight. So tune in on what
Is that happening? Are we back?
That's happening. We are back. Winner JB wins with William Byron. The Bowman fan backs into one, and now there's everybody at 6, basically except Bradley and Sal. So we head to Talladega. I believe picking first, I should be Tegan. I think I'm pretty sure out of that group, Blaney finished the worst. Let me get the results up here.
I'm pretty sure too, because in this group, maybe Reddick.
No, Reddick
Maybe between Reddick and Blaney.
Okay. Reddick was 25th. Blaney was 28th. So you're up first.
Damn, I was going to take Blaney.
You took him last week.
I know, that's what got me in the picking first.
I think you even asked before you picked Blaney, where are we at next week?
Give me Joey. Have I took Joey yet since we reset?
Not in the playoffs, no.
Okay, yeah, give me Joey.
Joey Logano for Tegan. Not a bad pick. Next up would be Bradley, who is picking
BK.
Let me look.
Oh my god, I'm still getting that stupid pop-up.
He's picking Ricky Stenhouse.
So far we're picking driver that's got eliminated. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. Next up, I think would be, is it me with Truex? Because Harvick was finished good. Hamlin
was
finished good. So it's me. Hey, Sal, this one's for you. Ready for it?
We forgot about the checking
Priest is going to win in the Wonder Bread car, baby. Ricky Bobby. Hell yeah. I'm so hyped for that. That race win diecast is going to hit like crack. So next up would be Sal, who picked Kevin Harvick. I assume I took your pick there. Who you got?
As much as I'd love to continue the trend, Brad Keselowski.
That's a really good pick. If I wasn't trying to be an asshole, I would have picked him. So next up after that would be Wessel, and he said, "Did anybody pick Bubba?" about 10 minutes ago. So I'm gonna assume that's who he wants to pick. So we'll pencil in Bubba Wallace for him, and then JB's pick is Ryan Blaney. Okay, those are the picks. I think pretty good Super Tuesday racers here. I think Ryan Priest kind of is out ahead of the rest of them at it, but we'll see what happens. I'm so excited for that. But I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Any final thoughts from us? We'll be back. Oh my, Tegan's probably hot in there. My fan's off too because it makes ridiculous sounds.
Yeah, yours actually sounds like it's fucking raining on a tin roof.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't understand how it does that. I'm not sure what mechanism is leading to the
It's
sound
broken.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Actually, it's annoying me. Like I turn it off a lot, and then I get really hot, and I'm like, well, shit, I gotta turn this back on. But we'll be back Sunday. No F1 this week. We're going to give the Cup Series Championship the whole week. Kind of just for me as the social media guy, I wanted to give F1 a week off so I could focus on one thing and not be posting, midweek, F1, Cup Series. So everything is all about the Cup Championship this week. So tune in Sunday night, 8 p.m. sharp Eastern time to see the Cup Series Championship. Will it be Tegan? Will it be Bradley? Will it be JB? Or will it be some idiot wearing a pink shirt? Find out. He actually kind of does. So yeah. There's about to be a crappy Kev in the toilet. Hit it, Tegan. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing it one day.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.